Thought a good opening day. I thought, first of all, the crowd, the students, the support that we get is absolutely second to none, and just can't thank everybody enough. It was a phenomenal day, to be present with everybody from the community. Congrats to everybody that made it into the Hall of Fame as well. I think that's a big day, and a great recognition for everybody, and just glad we could get a win on this day. A little different than last year, right? In the opening, game against our FCS opponent, obviously just a little bit different. And I thought our guys came to play. I thought they did a really good job. I thought they played efficient as can be on offense early, great and physical and sound on defense. And then got away from us in the middle there. There was after the rollout, punt that we decided to pull down and take. Then we end up in a spot where there's a almost sacking the quarterback into an interception that we drop, and they end up walking away with 3 at that point in time after getting the early touchdown. And then just a couple other things just not go our way. But then I thought the play of the day was the 3rd and 2, where we're going to have a real decision that we're going to have to make if we don't get that. And on that 3rd and 2 for Zoe to get us in the right play and for Wayne to be able to take it out the backside and end up in the back of the end zone. That was that was the play of the day. I thought that really iced it. So I thought a really good overall complete game. I loved our special teams. I can't speak enough about Tyler Brown and Chase Regan and those guys out there that take that so seriously. Block a punt, get some turnovers. Overall, a good day at the office.
What went into the decision of Zoe starting, and how did that decision kind of progress as the week went on?
That's all you guys want to talk about, huh? That's it? Yeah. But I thought it was great. Zoe did a phenomenal job. Zoe understands this offense inside and out and does a really, really good job. And what you see this week is maybe different next week. It's day one. It's week 1. I think that he did a really, really good job of getting us into the right calls. He understands the alert game and the protection checks and everything that comes with it. Did a really good job. And I thought Matt came in and did a really good job too. Be able to throw one in the corner of the end zone and run like he did. There were 2 that he almost broke. So you think about it as another team, lining up against us. If we continue to play as a team and highlight what people do and are the most successful at, this will be tough to stop.
When Sluka wasn't on the field, it seemed like there was a lot of communication between you guys on the sideline, him pointing things out when the offense is on the field. Can you talk a little bit about how he benefits the offense even from the sideline?
Yeah, well, I think he sees the game too. These guys Sluka's played a lot of football in his life, and put himself in positions many times to win big games. And I think that he sees it from a different lens as well as a player. And I think Zoe almost sees it as a coach, from a coach's eyes as well. And I think Sluka understands matchups and understands what the defense is giving and where he feels like, he could be able to affect this team and help this team. So I think they both just continue to play as great teammates, and, it was exciting to watch.
I know this offseason we talked about how deep this running back room was, but maybe one guy we didn't talk as much about was Wayne. So what did you see?
That's your fault. Yeah,
that's
your fault. I talked about Wayne. Yeah, I talked about. No, I talked a lot about Wayne. I think that Wayne's hit 22 point some miles, on the GPS at one of our practices today. And that run we watched happen, that exact run we watched happen numerous times as the preseason went on. And, again, last year just a little different. We don't really know Wayne fully when he shows up and, was in the portal still and decided to come back. And then it just took a while for him to trust us and probably us to trust him a little bit. And then all of a sudden, here he comes. And just what his weight room, the things he does in the, for all the preseason, the spring preseason, just a leader, loves this game, just competes really, really hard every day and just keeps taking his game to the next level. And he's hard to bring down. He's tough. He runs hard. And there's a couple 3rd downs where we needed to pick up the first, and he did it, and none bigger than when we're kind of floundering a little bit and we get to that 3rd and 2, and, he breaks a big one there. And that, there was no doubt I knew no one was going to catch him. I think we all knew that because we've seen it, a few times in preseason now.
And I know it ended up being called back, but what do you like out of him in that return?
Yeah, that he's willing to go as fast as he possibly can when other people are going at full speed at him. That's the attribute of a kick returner, right? Punt returners, little shifty, catch the ball in space, make people miss. To run full speed when people are running full speed at you is just a special characteristic trait. That's not one that a lot of people possess. And I think, we got a guy in the room that might know a thing or two about that. But other than that, that is something that's a little different, right? And he is willing to run full speed while people are running full speed at him.
And I know you mentioned that it maybe got away from you guys a little bit in the middle portion of that game, but your defense didn't seem to take a step back. You know, if it was JT and his interception, Tyler and
Yeah.
his. What did you like about the speed that they were playing with today?
Yeah, well, we needed that because just think about it. You go back to some of those games from last year, you know, and you turn it over, something happens, and all of a sudden it starts going the other way. They put a quick one in the back of the end zone, and now we're in a ball game. And I thought the defense just played hard. Coach Hitch, you can't speak enough about the job he just did with the defensive staff. I mean, you could bring any kid in here and talk to them about, you know, formations they saw and things they thought they were going to get. They were as buttoned up as any team defense I've ever been around as far as to anticipate what was about to happen next. It was an unbelievable effort by them in preparation and an unbelievable effort when they got out here on the field. There's things we got to clean up for sure, but at the same point in time, very, very proud of the preparation that went into it and then their ability to execute with confidence, you know, and just a ton of excitement and passion when they went out there. That's how the game should be played, right? It was not as much emotional as inspirational, and that's what we talked about pregame.
Chase had a big block on that punt in the first half. Just how big of a momentum shift was that play?
It's huge, and it was huge. And we said it in today. I think it was in 2 days meeting or sitting in this room yesterday, or in the walkthrough. I can't remember. It was like 5 practice or walkthroughs in a row before we got to this game at night. But we specifically said, like, you are the one that is going to get through. Are you really going to block this kick? And he was like, hell yeah, I'm blocking this kick. And it is exactly where we drew it up, everything to a T, exactly how we thought it would go. And he did just exactly what he said he would do. It was huge.
You talk about how this was a team win and even just with the block, but what are the advantages does it give you having 2 quarterbacks that you can turn to?
Well, you tell me, you know, when you have a guy in there that operates the offense at an efficient elite level and can do things, you know, that are just within that playbook and then above, it's fun to watch, get you into the right plays. And you got another guy can do the same, and then all of a sudden is just, you know, this dangerous threat with his legs, but could also throw the hell out of the football too. We played it before, and we watched it in our bowl game. We watched it other moments. It's just a hard thing to deal with when there's 2 different guys that can, you know, do a lot. You're almost preparing for 2 different offenses each week, and that really is a challenge for most defenses. I know from being on that defensive side of it, it's not an ideal situation, and I think that is, you know, something that we got to make sure we keep using to our advantage.
I know in the offseason, too, you talked about feeling like you had more guys that were capable of kind of catching the passes this year and carrying that load. You had 6 receivers catch a pass in the first by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
You end the day with your true freshman, Mikey Scott, as the leading receiver. What did you like out of that group?
Yeah, it's what we talked about from the beginning. I thought Coach Harp did a great job in building that room the right way, Coach Kennedy as well. And then I thought that he's just really demanded a lot from them and told them their moment's going to show up. We talk a lot about the contested catch. We have to be able to make the contested catch, and on offense, we got to be able to get the hard yard as running backs when it matters the most. Those are 2 things that we got to be able to do, and those were things we didn't do a great job of last year. The contested catch was not something we majored in, and the hard yard wasn't, you know, we just weren't the best at it. And I think right now when I looked at, we got the hard yard when we needed it. And at the same point in time, that contested catch, you know, there's a bunch of them that showed up in there. And there's one more, you know, right at the end where we got stopped on the 4th down. You know, I thought our offensive line did a great job with the protection. And so there was a little bit of collapsing of the pocket, and we just were a little high on the throw. But I know Jalen Sanchez would have made a huge play there if he had the opportunity. So I just thought our guys did a really good job. I'm sure Mike, you want that one back, but that's his welcome to college football moment, right? Is that, you know, he's dynamic with the ball in his hand, but you know, you were nervous if he was going to get separated from that ball or not, just on you know, his, you know, the size of him, and he's got to take that hit, understand it so that he could improve it moving forward.
I was going to ask about that one too. When the ball does hit the ground with that one, how do you make sure that he doesn't get it clouded or doesn't allow it to cloud his mind and just put it down, next play, go on? Yeah,
well, that's what we talk a lot about. We've been talking about that forever. A great play, move on. You know, terrible play, move on. You have to have that speed to the next mentality. How quickly can I get to the next play? That one's over and done with. Extract the lesson from it, drop the emotion, focus on the motion, right? Remove the emotion, focus on the motion of whatever I got to fix, and then make sure that I'm moving myself on quickly. And I thought he did a really good job of it. It's hard to do as a young guy in this environment, and I thought he did a great job.
Any other questions for Coach?
Oh,
One more. You know, the other day you do name your 2 captains with JT and Trent.
Yep.
And, you know, today Trent ends it as your leading tackler. JT has the interception. Just what do you see out of the play and the example that they set?
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. That's why they're there. They're voted on captains by their teammates, not by us as coaches. I think that's really important to be on the record, is that has nothing to do with us as coaches. No coach gets a vote in it at all. It's strictly based on your teammates. And those two, were selected captains by their teammates because of what they do on a day-to-day basis. Not because of what they did today, but it's funny how that works, isn't it? That the guys that put in the work, the guys that lead, the guys that do all the things right, usually that light shines on you. And at that point in time, you have a chance to be revealed for all the work and the dedication and commitment you've had for this team. So really proud of both of those guys. And there's a lot of other names in here that had big days, but I thought again the defense showed up when it had to. I thought they were very, very well prepared, and I thought the special teams played really, really hard. And offensively, it was efficient as it could be, and we just hit a little lull, which we got to get back and get that corrected.